There was a recent 4chan post that simply read, "I finally killed someone. Search for him." These cryptic words were followed by some coordinates. The post was accompanied by a very gruesome photograph of a dead body, its bloody human spine with the head still attached. When I searched online, I found that the grisly photograph was purportedly of a woman who was killed in Russia. Her story goes like this, and I'm largely quoting here. 27-year-old Mikhail met 25-year-old Nika online. Mikhail was a doctor, and Nika was beautiful. The two decided to meet up and go on a date. Apparently it went well. Mikhail ended up back at Nika's apartment, and the two engaged in sexual intercourse. What Mikhail didn't know was that Nika used to be a man. I have to explain some of the sexual acts here, so bear with me. Mikhail had Nika bent over, and he was enjoying himself, when suddenly Nika, in the throes of passion, pulled out his penis and began to ejaculate in front of Mikhail. Shocked, ashamed, and confused, Mikhail strangled Nika. Then he dragged her body to the bathroom, where he cut up Nika's body like a butcher breaking down a pig. The softer tissue and internal organs he simply flushed down the toilet. What remained of the corpse, however, he cooked in the oven. A 4chaner commenting on this story said that Mikhail even went so far as to boil the blood on the stove in the hopes of evaporating it, though I can't speak to the veracity of this claim. Now, while this story is certainly interesting, it doesn't line up with the 4chan post. The coordinates which OP gives lead one to Winters, Texas, which incidentally is about 6 hours west of where I am. Anyway, the discrepancy between the photograph, which is of a crime committed in Russia, and the coordinates which lead one to Texas, naturally inclined me to brush this off as a LARP, and I still am so inclined, but there's one more interesting detail. Just before Christmas 2018, a man went missing in Staten Island. This was about a year before the date of the 4chan post in question. The name of the missing man was Michael Stewart, and he was last seen with Angelo Nassimi at O'Neill's Irish Pub in Staten Island. The two were actually caught on surveillance footage hanging out together. The next day, Stewart sent his mother a chilling text message. "Please help me, Mom." He was never heard from again. Interesting side note, the man that Michael Stewart was hanging out with the night before he disappeared, Angelo Nassimi, had a girlfriend who had claimed to the police that Nassimi had murdered somebody before. According to her, Nassimi had forced her to go with him to bury a body in New Jersey. But what does Michael Stewart's death have to do with a random 4chan post? Maybe nothing. But one 4chaner noticed that if you look at the coordinates that were posted, you'll find a restaurant about 8 minutes down the road, and the name of the restaurant is Michael Stewart. Coincidence, right? Well, not so fast. The restaurant doesn't actually exist. It was added by somebody for some unknown reason. It was even rated 1 star. One 4chaner claimed that he was the person who created the restaurant to fuck with everyone, which could easily be true except for the 1-star review. It's from 5 days ago, 4 days before the thread was ever created. Last I checked, there was one anon who was taking a drive out there to see what he could find. But considering that this thread was found on B and not K, I'm pretty doubtful. At any rate, I find true crime rather interesting, and I've linked below the 2 threads that I read through, both the original and the follow-up, for anybody that might also be interested.